Hey YouTube. I haven't made a video in like a really long time, but I said I was going to start making my videos. I was going to start being consistent. I'm a new YouTuber. My name is Oh Beautiful. My first name is Octavia, and I'm just starting out with my YouTube page. You know, I made a video about maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago, year and a half ago, in reference to bringing up my channel and things I said I was going to start doing in reference to my channel. I still am going to do those things, but this is going to be my actual first video within that year time frame that I've been saying that I was going to make a video, and I just wanted to start my video off with a story time, basically talking about how my 14-year-old daughter became a mother at 14, and how I was 39, and the reaction and the depression stage that I went into, the depression stage that she went into in reference of being a mother of a teen mother. My daughter was 14. She had gotten pregnant at 13 and became a mother at 14. She is in high school. She was in junior high, well, middle school they call it at that point, and she was a 8th grader pregnant. She went through okay, well, let me start off by saying how I found out that she was pregnant. Okay, let's start from there. My daughter, I used to let my daughter have a lot of free time because, you know, teenagers, you know, she's a kid, but I would let her have a lot of free time, like going to her friend's house, letting her do a lot of things that she wanted to do, you know, and letting her do things with her friends. So in that process, I've always talked to my kids. I have 3 children. I have 2 girls and a boy. And my daughter that got pregnant, she's my middle child. I always talk to them, my 2 older daughters. Not my son, he's 9, but I haven't started talking to him yet in reference to, you know, sex and all that stuff, because he's 9 and then he's a boy, so I haven't gotten to that point yet. Anyway, I've always told my 15-year-old daughter when she was younger, you know, tell me, you know, talk to mommy first whenever you're ready to have sex. I'm like an open book. I always tell my kids, talk to me first. Don't just have sex. Talk to me. Let me know you're ready to have sex. That way I can tell you the do's and don'ts and the ins and outs of what to do and what not to do as far as sex is concerned, and all the responsibilities that come with if you have sex. You know, this is what could happen, this is what will happen, things like that, etc. So she decided to not tell me that she was having sex. She constantly, you know, wasn't comfortable in telling me that she was having sex. She wasn't comfortable in bringing it up in the subject to talk to me about it. And she became pregnant at 13. So she became pregnant at 13. She started, well, how I found out was she kept getting sick. She kept getting morning sickness, and she kept saying, you know, she would go to school, but then she kept vomiting, you know, every morning before she went to school, this, that, and the other. And I said, well, you know, if you're having sex and you're not telling me, you know, it's gonna be some issues. So she didn't tell me. She's like, no, I'm not having sex. No, I'm not having sex. No, I'm not having sex. So I'm like, okay. So the vomiting kept going every morning. She didn't do it, like, it wouldn't come in the evening time. You know how they say morning sickness comes all around. It does, but it wouldn't go on through the evening time. It just, you know, came in the mornings when she was about to go to school, things like that. So I'm like, okay, you know. So by the 4th or 5th time, as far as the days went by, that she's like, you know, vomiting on a consistent level, on a consistent basis every morning, and sleeping, you know, going to school, you know, and on the weekend she's like doing a lot of sleeping and vomiting. So I'm like, okay, I have to give you a pregnancy test because this is like unusual. You're doing all these things. So took a pregnancy test and she was pregnant. So I'm shocked because she's like my daughter that's kind of quiet. You know, she's kind of, you know, one of those kids that, you know, she's kind of quiet, but they say the quiet ones are the sneaky ones, unfortunately. So, you know, I couldn't believe it was her. I just couldn't believe it was her. So anyway, fast forward a little bit. So she's pregnant. And I'm like, oh, you know, Kanaya, what are you thinking? What's the problem? This, that, and the other. I said, oh, you're going to, you know, get an abortion. So, you know, a lot of people don't believe in that. You know, I just feel as though whatever your circumstances are in reference to your lifestyle, or, you know, whatever you decide to do as far as, you know, that situation is concerned with your life, is your business, your life. I have nothing to do with that. Nobody should be able to tell you what you should and shouldn't do with your body. But this is my 14-year-old, with 13, going on 14-year-old daughter. So, get to the doctor, and by the time we get to the doctor, you know, she's already, you know, up there. She's already, okay, you know, I want to know how many weeks she is, this, that, and the other, and, you know, I need to know now. So by the time she gets to the physician, we get to the doctor's like, you know, oh, you know, what is your plan, this, that, and other. So I said, well, you know, we were talking about getting an abortion. You know, she took pregnancy test, she's pregnant, but we're talking about getting you know, a termination done. So he's like, okay, well, let me lay her down to see how many weeks she is, this, that, and the other. So he decides to do the test on her, you know, everything. Within, like, we're in the room, she's getting ready to get the ultrasound done to see how many weeks she is, things like that, you know, so we can go to the clinic to get this done. The doctor says to me, Miss Wade, this is not going to happen. And I said, what do you mean it's not going to happen? He's like, she's 19 weeks and 5 days. I'm like, what? He's like, she's 19 weeks and 5 days. But mind you, in that process of all that going on, she hadn't been sick until, you know, I'm noticing her being sick, and she hasn't been complaining about. She said she's just been getting up every morning, going to school, whatever. She hadn't been sick for months. All of a sudden, she's sick. Well, Miss Wade, she's 19 weeks and 5 days. And I'm like, oh, what? And he's like, yeah, she's 19 weeks and 5 days. So if you're going to get the procedure done, he's like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but she's young. You know, her body is, you know, she's a kid, you know, things that he's giving me his input, and I want to take his input because he's a physician. And not only that, he knows, you know, he's a pediatrician in reference to that situation. So he's like, Miss Wade, you know, I'm not trying to tell you, you know, and he's real sincere. I'm not trying to tell you, you know, what's going to go on with your life. I'm not trying to tell you, you know, what you should and shouldn't do. I'm not that person to tell you that. It's not my life. You know, I don't know what your financial situation is. I don't know what your circumstances are with your household, things like that. But I really think that this shouldn't happen. You know, she's young, and I know she's going to be a young mother. You know, if you decide to take that route, you know, and he's basically talking to me in reference to that. So I was like livid. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I cried, she cried, like, and I just didn't feel comfortable after the physician. And during the time that he talked to me, I didn't feel comfortable in getting this situation done. So I was like, no, we're not going to do this. So I decided to support my daughter. You know, a lot of people will have judgment on that. I decided to support my daughter. But hey, you know, this is a situation that happened to us. And I try to explain to her that this is your baby. This is your baby. You will be the one dealing with this baby. You know, I had to get into this situation with the sons. My grandson is here now. He's a year old with his father, his father's father, his father's mother, the new girlfriend, all this crazy stuff I had to get into with this whole big situation. And I just decided that, you know, I told my daughter, you know, I'm just going to help you. We're just going to deal with this situation, or whatever the situation may be. So she's going to school. She's, you know, she's still in, you know, junior high school, middle school. She's going to school. And now that she's getting bigger, you know, people are talking about her. They're, you know, pointing fingers, and she's telling me how she feels. But my daughter is really strong. So she comes home from school one day, and she says to me, Mom, she said, you know, I'm like the, you know, kind of I'm really an oddball at school, because I'm the only girl that this situation has happened to, and I'm young, and, you know, I get people talk about me, whisper. I can see the whispering, you know, I can see, you know, the stares, and I can see all these things. And you know what? Being as though I talk to you a lot about, you know, things more so now than I ever did, it really doesn't bother me. And I said, it doesn't bother you? You know, Kanaya, it doesn't bother you? She's like, no, it doesn't bother me. She said, because this was my situation. I know that what I want to do with my life, and I know that I haven't messed up my life. I've just created a situation where it's going to be a little harder for me to get to where I have to go, because now I have somebody else to think about. And when she said that, I was like, wow, really, Kanaya? She's like, yes, now I have to think about my baby before I think about myself. And she's like, I know it's going to be hard, because it's like you say, this is my baby, but I know that you're going to help me and you're going to be there for me. And I said to you, yes, I'm going to always be there for you. So fast forward, she has my grandson. He was a preemie, and he was only 4'14" when he was born. He had to build up some ounces, and he built up the ounces within 3 days. He was able to come home when she was able to come home. And he is like, you know, the best thing that has ever happened to me as being a grandmother for the first time, as well as for her in this situation, being a mother and being young. She's a young mother. She's in high school now. She wants to finish high school. She wants to join the military. I'm accepting of that, as long as she does something with her life. She says she's going to make the military a career. So this is something that she wants to do. But my daughter, you know, she, you know, has learned that, you know, she's like, Mom, without you, I couldn't do this. I couldn't do this without you. I couldn't raise my son without you, because, you know, you help me to the best of my ability, and, you know, you take time, you know, to help me and deal with my son and show me things, and, you know, so that way when I get older and I have to deal with him, you know, it'll be easier on me a little bit, because my mother has shown me how to do these certain things. And the reason I wanted to bring up this as a first, like, actual quote unquote video is because there are a lot of you young girls in your 20s. I was a mother at 17, so I'm not talking about something that I don't know. There's a lot of mothers out here that have kids, older and younger. A lot of you young, I'm just speaking for the young mothers, ages 14, 13, well, however old you are, excuse me, and to high school, to college, whatever. And I just want to let you know that if you're just becoming a new mom, or if you just, you know, just found out that you're pregnant, things like that, the world is not over. It's not over for you. Nothing is over for you. You have to work a little harder. You have to become a little stronger. You have to not worry about what people think or say. You have to just know that people are going to talk regardless of the situation. And when they talk, you just let it go through one ear and come out the other, especially negativity, because negativity is going to be there. Negativity, people are going to point fingers, even adults. And these are people that are adult people that could be your mom or your dad. You know, these adult people that are whispering about these children, about all of you guys that are young and becoming mothers, and they're whispering to other teachers, they're whispering to neighbors, and all these things. And they're supposed to be the ones that say, you know, this, that, and the other, or whatever the situation may be, it's okay. You know, you gotta work hard, it's okay. But instead, they would rather whisper about you, talk bad about you to others, and pretend like, you know, half of them that pretend like, oh, their world is such a paradise, when you never know their situation, and they never know their situation. So all I'm saying to you is that for the mothers who are becoming grandmothers for the first time, and you're young and your daughter is young, always put God first, no matter what. Put God first. You know, understand that this is just a situation that he or she, even for boys, he or she done went through. Whatever you decide to do in reference to that, if you decide to bring it into this world, just remember that the world isn't over. It's not over. It's not over until God says it's over. Yes, it'll be obstacles. Yes, it will be people that are negative. All those things. But you know what? You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep going for what you want. My daughter, she makes pretty good grades now in school. Where's that her stress level when she was pregnant at first time? You know, her stress level in the beginning, she was so stressed out. But then as she became, you know, getting older, and the months started to come where her belly was getting bigger, she's like, I can't worry about that right now. I have to worry about what I have to do for my son, you know, for my baby, you know, things like that. But always stay focused, stay in school, Don't let these little boys and girls tell you, oh, you shouldn't stay in school, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Stay in school, get your education, whatever you decide to do, get it, because that's the way that's going to help you improve your financial mental and emotional stimulation to take care of your kids. Nobody can tell you how to take care of your kids as far as that's concerned. So the best thing for you to do is stay in school. If you and the father or the mother aren't getting along, you got to figure out a way to do that too. But the point of fact of the matter is stay in school. Don't let anybody jeopardize your education. Stay in school, stay focused, keep your eyes on the grind. Don't let anybody take anything from you as far as your self-esteem, your encouragement, your feelings, and your accomplishments that you want to accomplish for yourself. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Because people will come and they will pretend like they're your friend, and they're not. They just waiting for you to fall. All because this certain situation happened to you in your life. So that's all I really wanted to say. I'm sorry this video was so long. I'm going to come back with another video. I'll have to see whatever I want to, what I want to do the video on. But this was just on my heart to start, talking about, because I know there is probably most likely a young girl out there who may look at this video. She just found out, or a father that's young may just find out he's going to be a father. And it's just like, or a parent who has a child that's pregnant and she's young. She's under the age of 18, and you feel depressed, or you feel lonely, or you feel like this is the only, I'm the only person this is happening to. Don't feel like that, because that's how I feel. So stay focused, and I catch y'all in another video. And also hit that subscribe button if you can, and just tell me basically, what's your thoughts and your feelings about this story, or if you know somebody, or if you were a teen mom, how your parent reacted, or whatever the situation may be. All right, have a good day, guys.